I told those two badasses, if you want to get along with me, check out my blues collection, play some Roosevelt Dean. These are your two bad.
Where and when were you born?
You're trying to find out my age, Pete. I was born in Alabama, down in Phoenix City, Alabama, across the river from Columbus, Georgia, back in the 40s.
Okay. Where, describe as best you can geographically what part of Alabama that is, and what the country, what the landscape is like. What kind of country is it?
Well, at the time that I was born, rough country. A lot of farmland, a lot of farms. Right on the border of Columbus, Georgia, across the Chattahoochee River.
So is that in up northern part of?
That's southern part.
Southern part.
Mm-hmm. Southern part of Alabama State. Right on the border of Columbus, Georgia.
And why was your family in Phoenix City, Alabama?
Because they were born and raised there. The whole clan was born and raised there. You know, that's part of the history of the slaves. They were slaves in that area. They didn't migrate to Alabama.
So tell me about your mother and your father's families. What you know about the past.
I don't know much about my father's family, but I know quite a bit about my mother's family. My mother's great-grandfather was a Blackfoot Indian. Her great-grandmother was a slave. And that's how we got the Blackfoot Indian in this family, from the Indian maiden with the slave. And that's the Turner side of the family. I don't know much about my father because he was a hit-and-run man.
What does that mean?
Well, it means he hit and ran. My name is Dean, but the Dean comes from the Dean family, which I was adopted by my mother's husband after she got married, after I was born.
Your mother.
And he raised me.
So your mother's family.
My mother's family, on my mother's side,
Yeah.
derived from the slaves and the Blackfoot Indians. But on my real father, I don't know much about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you met him? Have you ever?
Yeah, I met him. Yeah, he found me when I was in my 30s. And I went to his funeral. But I don't know much more about him than that.
When did he pass away?
Oh, this is 2006 now. He must have went away from here. Oh, somewhere around 1990. Yeah.
So O.C. Dean.
O.C. Dean's the guy that adopted me and raised me.
And he was married to your mother?
To my mother, right.
And when did they get married?
Oh, I don't know. I was a little boy. I don't remember when they got married.
Oh, okay.
But I was a little boy.
So basically,
that's all I know is O.C.
So he coming up, he was your
That's
dad
right.
for all
Yeah.
intents and purposes.
Yeah, he's the one that kicked the shit right out of me.
What do you know much about his family?
Very little. No more than going to family reunions with him and supporting him. I've been going to family reunions. I met a lot of his people. But as far as knowing anything about them and where they come from and what slave clan they were from, I don't know much about that.
So you're growing up in Phoenix City, Alabama in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
What did your mother do? Did both of the parents work? Or
Pete, you were getting deep, boy. From the time I was born, my grandmother raised me because my mother was a runner. She was running around and all over the place, and I really didn't know much about her until I got around 15 years old. My grandmother raised me. My mother come and got me when she got married to O.C. I was 15 years old.
you were 15?
That's right.
Okay. What was your grandmother's name?
Oh, Lucille. Lucille.
And did she grow up in that part of the country as well?
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix City?
Yeah, she raised me. That's all I knew.
Yeah. Tell us what kind of a community was it like in Phoenix City, Alabama?
You really want to know?
Yeah, I do.
It's tough. That's tough. It was tough. back in the 40s, there was a lot of Ku Klux Klan movement. A lot of blacks being beat to death and dragged down to the Chattahoochee River, chains tied around their legs, and the other end of the chains tied around a spare tire and thrown in the Chattahoochee River. Anything that you did wrong, as far as not saying yes or no sir to the whites, you would have a visit by the Ku Klux Klan at midnight, and they would burn a cross on you, your lawn, and then they would beat you unmercifully and drag you away. It was tough, but we were taught what to do and what not to do to avoid any confrontation with the Ku Klux Klan. As little kids, we were always taught, don't do this, don't do that. Always say yes sir, no sir. Don't go in that door, go in the back door. Don't drink out of that fountain, drink out the one that says color. You know, we were taught that. So you really didn't have a problem with the Klans unless you bucked the system. And the system was, they were the man, and you was junk. I mean, the blacks never did anything to the whites. The whites just didn't like the blacks because they lost their grip on the blacks. Blacks no longer had to work for nothing. You understand? Now the white man had to go work his own farm. They didn't like that. So this caused a problem. So the black man was always hated. Since they were given their freedom, they were hated, treated like dogs. You had to get behind the line everywhere, riding in the back of the buses. Okay? And if the bus got full and you had more whites on the bus than you had blacks, they would make the blacks get up and get off the bus and give the whites the seats. You're going to wait for another bus. It's pretty tough.
The violence, was this the kind of thing that you'd hear about on a weekly basis, or was it?
What violence?
Well, these murders, these lynchings that were going on.
Well, it's not a question of hearing about it weekly or whatever. Whenever it happened. Whenever it happened, that's when you hear about it.
But would you say it was common?
Oh yeah, it's normal. Every now and then you had a black would buck the system. Or you have a black that says, I'm not saying yes sir no more. Or you'd have a black that'll go to water fountains. Hey, this fountain's here and I'm drinking. You know. Or you have a black that would slap a white man somewhere for some white man saying something wrong to him. He would slap him or kick him or whatever, beat him up, whatever. He's going to have a rough night. A rough night coming. And there was times when some of the guys got in trouble and their families got together with the neighborhood and got them out of town before midnight. But if you're poor and you don't have means and no money to help your child, all you can do is sit there and wait for the clans to come get them. And that's the way it was. A lot of these people they couldn't make it from one weekend to the other one with food. It was just tough, you know. Everybody worked for little or nothing, you know. I mean, my grandmother, she washed clothes for whites and ironed clothes for whites to get extra money. And she worked in the mills. Hard work in the mills and the cotton mills and cotton gins just to make ends meet. And washing clothes for other people trying to make ends meet. And they didn't pay them nothing, man. I mean, something like $1.50, $2 for washing a whole load of clothes. That wasn't all that money. But she saved what she got. She didn't splurge money. And yeah, I never asked for anything because I knew there was nothing there. You know, I was a teenager. I did get a bike. And it was a used bike and had been hand painted by somebody. I thought it was the prettiest thing that I ever seen. I mean, it was a hand-me-down and redone, but it was a bike. I think she paid 75 cents for it or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I cherish that bike, man. It's just you know.
Was there a lot of poverty in your community?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it had to be because the blacks didn't get anything. I mean, they would work hard all day, and the white man would pay them $1. And when the white man would work side by side with the black man, they'd pay him $20 and pay the black man $1.50, $2. So there was poverty because they couldn't get anywhere. And if they did get anywhere and go in credit stuff and charge food, when they did get their money, it was gone. So they couldn't get anywhere. The only way you could get anywhere is to leave there. And everybody couldn't leave. I left. but everybody couldn't.
How does a community deal with that sort of that stress, that oppression? What are the ways that a community copes with that? Because I mean, you can't just let it happen to you. You're going to go crazy after a while. I mean, I would think if you were having to deal
See,
with
you're
it.
thinking about today. You're not thinking about back in the 40s and 50s. You're thinking about today. In the 40s and 50s, you had no choice. So the community would stick together as far as having each other eat and helping each other do this and each other do that. But they dared buck the system, because when you buck the system, you're going to end up dead, or your whole family's going to be dead.
But I mean, in terms of, like, for instance, church, was that a way of sort of getting the stress out and getting the emotions
Yeah,
out?
church was church, just like church is today. Church was church, but you still had a bunch of old people in the church that was afraid to do anything. They would go to church and pray to the good Lord that they had a better way of life and a better way of this, and protect me here and protect me there. But they dared tell a white man, I'm not going to do this. They would just say, yes, sir. No, sir. That's it.
What I want to know from your perspective, people aren't born when people aren't born with an understanding of these racial problems and the like. Tell me, if you can, what it was like to become aware that this was the reality that you were living in. I mean, how did it hit? How did you first become aware of it?
Well, you don't become aware of it. It's a way of life from the time you're born, and you're taught that this is a way of life from the time you're born. So you know it all the time. From the time you begin to walk, you know what I'm saying? And my grandmother used to take me downtown, and we would go in a store, and we had to go in the side store. And I'm just big. She said, you can't go in that door. You got to go in this. Come on. Mommy, I'll take you in this door. You can't drink in that fountain. Come on, we'll go over here and drink in that fountain. You can't go in that restaurant and eat. We got to go around to the back door, and we got to stand at the back door. Mommy, I'll order you a hot dog, okay? You couldn't go in and sit down and eat the hot dog. So it was a way of life. You were brought up to know what was what, and there was no big deal. You knew, because you were raised that way. You know? So it was never a shock to me.
How did you have? If you don't want to talk about this, I understand. But I mean, were you ever closer than you wanted to be to some of this racial violence that was happening down there? I mean, did you ever find yourself in a situation where you? I suspect you were pretty good at staying out of that kind of trouble, but I mean, is that not? Did you have anything?
No, I never got close to it because it was always somewhere else. Always somewhere else. I knew about the marching and I knew what was going on, but it was in Selma or it was in wherever. But I was in Phoenix City. It was 100-something miles away.
I mean, in terms of what was
Birmingham was 86 miles.
I mean, in terms of what was going on in your community with the racially motivated violence and that sort of thing. I mean, did you ever find yourself in a situation where
we didn't have anything going on in my community? Everybody just sit down and didn't do nothing. They just stayed out of it. They just waited for somebody else to do it for them. We were told, don't do it, don't do it, don't do this, don't do that. Your parents are afraid for you,
Yeah.
The ones that got involved doing things, man, they did it on their own without their parents giving them the go-ahead. They did it on their own. The parents would have never let them do it because they got beat really bad and some of them died. That's what pissed me off today. You got blacks walking around the street today and they've got the right to go and vote and they won't go vote. They're not even registered. And then you had people that died back in those days and get beat to death for them to have their rights. And they don't even know who's running. They won't vote. They won't go get a job. They won't go to school. There are people that go to school back in them days got beat trying to go into school. And these people, they got it. Now they won't do it. You got people that won't even go to school. And you have people that die and get beat half to death because somebody wanted to go to school there. Well, they did it for these young people to come along. But you got people now that just don't care. and all that work was done in vain. I knew it was going on. I mean, I didn't have a television or anything, but talk, word of mouth is stronger than anything. You knew what was going on. I knew when they was doing in Birmingham. I knew what they was doing in Selma. I know what they was doing in Tupelo, Mississippi. I know all about that. But that was so far away. We heard about it. There was nothing we could do. We didn't have anybody to leave Phoenix City and go there. We didn't have, not that I knew of.
So tell me about the good things, about the good parts about growing up in the country. What do you miss about it?
Well, when you brought up in the country, you're brought up taught how to survive and how to make it, how to survive. And the only way that you can survive is prepare for one year to the other one. A certain time of a year you had to prepare. That means you had to do your harvesting. That means you had to put up stuff. That means you have to kill hogs and put up stuff and make your own sausage and make your own meal and just plant a lot of gardens and everything was canned, pretty much canned. You had a lot of work to do. You had a lot of peeling to do, a lot of cutting and peeling to do. There was a time when you couldn't play. Your play was cutting potatoes. Your play was peeling pears. Your play was killing hogs and gutting hogs and smoking hams and making the sausage and grinding the sausage. That was your playtime, And the other time, if you had a chance, you go to school if you got a chance. But if the work was there, you had to do the work. Forget the school, you had to work. Because you had to prepare for the next year. That's the only way you could survive. So the good thing about growing up in the country is learning how to prepare. See, now, if we have a catastrophic right now in this country, I would say anybody that's under 50 years old would perish. Anybody black from the South that's over 50 years old would survive because we know how to survive. We know how to do it because you had to do it in those days. I mean, you just couldn't go to the store and buy $100 worth of grocery. You went to the store and you bought 25 cents worth of kerosene so you could see. And you take the kerosene home, put it in a lamp so you could see. The rest of the stuff, you grew it. You raised it, you grew it, and you put it up so it wouldn't spoil. That's why you got so many sick people nowadays, because you don't have the farms and the people that know how to run the farm raising the food. You got companies raising the food. All your hogs and stuff and chickens and stuff and cattle is raised by companies, and companies are in business to make money, not protect your health, to make money. So they will raise a hog 6 weeks and kill him, and he'll be big as that wall when they kill him because they fed him a lot of junk, a lot of chemicals to fatten him up so they can get him to the market. When I was a kid, we raised a hog, we put him on the floor for 6 weeks so he couldn't eat the snakes out of the ground, he couldn't eat the roots out of the ground, and fed him pure water and corn and clean him out. So when we kill that hog, it's pure meat. No chemicals in him, no nothing, no junk in him. He was clean. That didn't kill you. This stuff you eat nowadays is going to kill you, people.
Now, when you would have some free time, when would you usually get free time? Maybe after church on a Sunday? Was that recreational? Was that your
Saturday
recreation time?
Saturday afternoon. You get a chance to go to town.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon, you go to town, walk the streets in town, buy a can if you had any money, go to the movie if you had 25 cents, go to the movie. That's it.
What about out in the woods, playing out in the woods, that kind of thing?
Well, you got a chance to do that after all your work was done daily. If you had work to do, well, you would get your work done, and after all your work is done, you had chores. You had chickens to feed, you had cattle to feed. You had mules to feed. You had hogs to feed. You had water to draw by hand to get in. If your well was dry, you had to walk 5 miles to get water and carry by pails, get the water in. And you had to cut a lot of wood because everything was cooked by wood. Even the fire, the heat you had fireplaces. You had to cut the wood, or you'd freeze. So you had things to do. After that was done, you could go out and play, whatever you want to, ride one of the mules, ride a horse, whatever. Ride a cow if you can catch one, you know.
Were there a lot of kids around?
No, there was farms. You know, maybe a couple of miles of the road was another farm. 2-3 miles the other way was another farm. You know, I mean, to get around other kids, you had to walk 2-3 miles to get to another farm. You know, and when you get there, they were working. So you pitch in and help them because there was nothing to do. They couldn't stop working. So you'd help them. That's one thing about the farms in the South, the people at that time, they stuck together. Like if we were killing hogs, people would come from 4 or 5 farms over to help us kill the hogs. And when we kill a hog, we killed 10, 11, or 12, not one hog. Sometimes they would bring 2 hogs with them. They kill them, do it all at one time there. And all those men would come and work all day long, killing hogs and cleaning hogs and cutting meat all day until it's all done. They stuck together in the country.
Yeah. And at the end of a lot of that hard work, would you get a chance to cook up some pork at the end of all that?
Oh, man. Mostly sausage. We made our own sausage. You had to put the spices in and made. And well, you know, those people came to help. They got meat to take home. You know, because they would stay there until everything was done. All the meat had to be salted down and cleaned and salted down and put away.
So you weren't cooking up ribs and brisket?
No. That had to be cured. No, just fresh meat would be sausage. Pan sausage, what you call pan sausage, link sausage. You do that then. The rest of the stuff had to be put away and smoked. You had to leave that meat 6 weeks in salt before you could even eat it. You had to pull all the water out of the meat. And then we would build a house, and they call them smokehouses. They hang the meat up inside the wall, all the way around in the wall, and it was a dirt floor. So you build a fire on the dirt floor, and you use mud and close all the cracks in the wall. That way the fire would never blaze up and burn. It would just smolder. And you put the hickory wood in there, and it would just smoke. And this is what you would smoke that meat for weeks, man, just smoke it. And that's how you got country smoked ham. They would be hanging on the wall. So when you wanted one, you just go out there and pull it off the wall and take it in and start cooking. It's the best ham you ever tasted in your life. Yeah.
And the smoke would protect it from spoiling? And
yeah. Hickory smoke would cure the meat, and it wouldn't spoil. You wouldn't have to refrigerate or anything after that. But if you didn't get the water out of it, it would spoil. So the salt is what pull the water out of it. You had to salt that meat down. And after about 6 weeks, you took that meat out of that salt, it'd be full of water. The salt would be full of water. It'd pull it right out of the meat. And now it's the time to wash the meat off and smoke it. First, you got to get the water out of it or it's spoiled.
Yeah. Did you ever get bitten by a rattlesnake when you were down there in the country?
No. I shot them before they bit me.
You knew how to handle guns then.
You had to if you want to stay alive.
How young were you when you were taught how to use a gun?
I don't know, maybe 10. I remember grandfather giving me a 12-gauge shotgun for my birthday, and I shot it. And when I shot it, he had picked me up off the ground. It just knocked me right down, man. And he says, this is the way you shoot this gun. You don't put it up to your shoulder because it's going to knock you over. You put it underneath your arm. And that boom, and went straight back under my arm. I never got kicked down before. But I couldn't aim with it because it would have knocked me down if I hold it up and aim. So I had to put it under my arm, let it hang down, And this is the way I learned how to shoot. Boom, just like that, boom, boom. Knock a rattlesnake head off, man. 12-gauge shotgun, carried it with me everywhere I went. And then besides that, Pete, a lot of times we did not have food that we were needed to have. You'd be running out of food, man. You get your gun, you go hunting. And I used to go hunting and bring back 3 or 4 rabbits at a time and a squirrel to boot at a time. A hawk or something that I shot out there. Hawks, pheasants or something like that I shot. And that was dinner. Oh, yeah. I killed a lot of rabbits and squirrels in my days up until I was 15 years old. Yeah. Did a lot of hunting.
Yeah.
Used to go beaver hunting, coon hunting. Rabbit hunting was the best, man, because the rabbit would be running. You had to shoot before to get him. Or he'd be running. Yeah, you had to be able to shoot. Squirrel, same thing. You had to be able to shoot to kill a squirrel. But if you wanted to eat, you would hit him. So you got some supper.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite things to eat back then? I'm sure your grandma was an excellent cook.
Favorite things?
Yeah.
Everything. Everything, Peter. Oh, man, I'll tell you. Everything. But, well, you know, the food was different. The food you had in the 40s was not like this garbage we got now. I mean, if you ate ham, if you cooked ham, you could smell it a half a mile when you're cooking it. You know, I mean, it was really food.
Mm-hmm.
And when you wanted chicken, you go out and kill one of your chickens on the yard. That was the purest chicken you could get. You could smell that 3 miles when you cooked it. It was real food, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Real food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything was good. Pies, I mean, we had trees. We had fig trees, pear trees, all kinds of trees around the house. We had them. You make pies, you had the best pie in the world. If you didn't have them, they were growing wild. Peach trees growing wild all over the place. Peach, apple, just growing wild. You just go and pick it and bring it back home, make the pies. You're the best pie you ever had. This is fresh. Like I said, Pete, everything.
Right. What was school like for you growing up out in the rural area?
It was tough. Yeah, the first school I went to, it was just one room, and there was 3 or 4 grades in one room.
Wow.
In one room, 3 or 4 grades with one teacher.
How do you do that?
Oh, they did it. They did it. And one teacher would separate this area, put the first grade there, the second grade there, the third grade there, the fourth grade there, the fifth grade behind them. Okay, and they were all partitioned on. No, not partitioned, just in certain rows. And those were the different grades. And she had to try to teach all those different grades. So you went liking something.
So she'd talk to one group and say, here's what you got to do.
That's right, and go to the other one.
Go to the next one. And how long were you in that school for?
Till I was in the 4th grade. And then my grandmother took me downtown, put me in school downtown because she got an apartment down there, a house. And then I went to school in Phoenix City downtown, which was entirely different than where I came from. This was a brick school. It had blackboard wall on the wall. And where I came from, we had to hold the blackboard up for the teacher to write on. Yeah. And we had one big stove in the middle of the room that we had to just keep feeding with wood in the winter. But where I went to school at, it was different downtown. It was a brick building, you know.
So did you guys have textbooks and?
In Phoenix City, yeah.
I mean, the first school. I mean, what was?
Well, they had books, but they were bad and ripped and whatever, you know. It wasn't very good. They didn't have nothing out there. I mean, it was just bad.
Mm-hmm.
But they did the best they could with what they had. But when you went in Phoenix City, it was a bigger city and the school district was better. You had a few books.
So your grandma saved and she was able to buy a house? Is that basically what happened? Mm-hmm. And how old were you guys when you moved there?
I didn't go there. I left when I was 15. She was still in the house. She moved there after I left. Must have been 16, 17 when she moved.
But when did you? I mean, at some point you started going to school in the city.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
It was about 4th, 5th grade.
Okay. But she hadn't moved. She hadn't moved there yet.
No, but she had the house.
She had the house.
Yeah, because me and my brother went out and helped build this house.
Oh, okay.
She had the house, but she wasn't living in it. It was rented.
Okay.
She moved in that house after I left.
But that allowed you, having that house allowed you to go to school in the city?
I don't think the house had anything to do with it.
Oh, okay.
It's just that she moved in the city. She brought us there.
Okay.
In the city with her.
So, when you were 15, what happened then? As far as?
Well, my mother came to town with her new husband.
And had you seen, how often would you see your mother before?
Maybe once every 3, 4 years, 2, 3 years, every 2, 3 years maybe. She'd come through town for a couple of days and be gone.
And what was that like? I mean,
I didn't even know the lady, Peter. I mean, she would come and say, "I'm your mother." Said, yeah, so? Yeah, good, okay. See you, I gotta go. Be gone. I didn't know too much.
Yeah.
She was a very beautiful woman. That's her up there, standing there with me at the guitar. See up there on the wall with the guitar there? Let me standing beside her.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very beautiful woman. Can you zoom up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a woman that pretty had a chance to do anything she wanted, go anywhere she wanted, do anything she wanted to do. And she would come to town maybe once a year or twice a year and be gone. He'd be out there, dude. So it's a question of not being near, not seeing her. She come to town, I was 15, and said, I want you to go live with me. And that was a tough day. It's kind of hard for me to make a decision to leave. I didn't want to go, but my grandmother made me go because she was headed to Seattle, Washington. My grandmother said, if you go with your mom, you should be able to go to better schools, get a better education. So I decided, well, maybe my grandmother's right. She's never told me anything wrong. So I'm going to go with this lady. And I went with her. And when I graduated, I left. Came to Syracuse, New York.
So she took you to Seattle, Washington?
Seattle, first stop, Denver, Seattle, and San Francisco.
And why so much traveling?
Oh, well, it was Army, you know.
Okay, so she's with OC and he's in the Army, right?
Yeah, he was in the Army. Yeah,
Okay.
He traveled a lot.
Now was he career military?
Yeah.
When did he go into the military? How old was he?
18, 21 or something. I don't
Was
know.
he drafted or?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Korea.
Yeah, he hit Korea, Japan, all of them. He hit them all. He fought on all those walls, man. He could sit down and tell you about Poke Chop Hill, dude. How the blood ran down the hill.
I'm sure he could.
Like water. Yeah, he could. He doesn't like to talk about it, but he could tell you.
So he's moving around with the military, and you're moving with him and your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to Seattle first stop. So you were a teenager.
Denver.
Oh, Denver. So you were a teenager in Denver.
Yeah, and then Seattle, Washington. And then the last stop was San Francisco. And I graduated from Hayward, California, which is outside San Francisco, between Oakland and San Mateo.
Did you feel more comfortable in some of these other cities where you lived compared to, living in the Deep South? I mean, that must have been quite a contrast for you.
It was shocking. It was shocking because when you lived in the South and you couldn't go in anywhere, or you couldn't do anything unless somebody told you you can or blah, blah. When you go to another city, you feel the same way. You feel that you can't drink out of that fountain. You're looking for the sign when you get there. You're looking for the sign to find the sign. There's got to be a color sign there somewhere, but I don't see it. It's shocking. So you almost die of thirst until you figure out that you can drink. And there's nobody walking around telling you can drink. You're alone. It's a shock, I tell you. It's not easy. If you just came from where it's hell. It's tough.
So it wasn't institutionalized, but did you? Did you still? Were these still cities where the black community basically, stuck together? And
No.
The white community, or was it very integrated? I mean, what was it like?
Totally.
Did it help being a military family? Was there?
Well, yeah. The military did not tolerate discrimination or segregation. Military, no, they did not tolerate that. So if you were living on base, there wasn't any. And if they put you off base, most of the time what they did was they would rent a home for Pop, and we would live off base. And they might just put you in any neighborhood, but they did not tolerate anybody discriminating against you if you're in the Army. So it was totally different. And they would put you in an all-white neighborhood. But the cities and the towns that I live in did not tolerate discrimination, period. You'd go to jail if you discriminated somebody. Like in Seattle, I almost went to jail in Seattle because I was afraid to go in a restaurant. And I was with a couple of guys, and they was trying to get me to go in a restaurant. And I said, no, I can't go in there. And the manager heard me outside. He called the cops because he thought these two guys wouldn't let me come in the restaurant. So when the cops got there, they said, what's the trouble? I said, can't go in that restaurant. The cop says, why not? They won't let me in. They're not going to let me come in there. I just got there from Alabama. And the cops said, well, I'll tell you what. If you don't go in that restaurant, somebody's going to jail. Either it's going to be you or it's going to be the owner. But somebody's going to jail this afternoon. So I had to go in the restaurant. I was scared to death. I was 15 years old.
And nothing happened.
No. Well, see, they didn't understand. I was the one that was afraid to go in. But they thought that somebody was keeping me from going in. So the guy called the cops. He didn't want the word to get out that his place would not serve blacks because he would have been out of business. I told you, Seattle don't tolerate that. He would have been out of business and in jail. So he called the cops. And it was me. I'm scared to go in, man.
So you get in there and nothing happens. And what is that? What happens in your mind then? I mean, you must have been...
You lose your appetite. Still scared to eat. You're sitting there looking at people to see who's looking at and who's watching. Everybody's just eating their food. They're not even looking at you. They don't even know you're in there, but you're looking at them going to know who's going to come over here and throw me out, okay? This is the way it was. When you come from a place where if you made a mistake and went in the wrong door and walked into the restaurant, there was going to be somebody on you in 5 seconds throwing you out of there. Literally throwing you out if you went in the wrong door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If the sign fell off the door that said white or color, you were in trouble. Better make sure both signs are up there. You're in trouble.
It's interesting you give me a little timeline from starting with when you left Phoenix to right before you went to Syracuse. The sort of like the cities.
59.
You left Phoenix City in 59.
1959.
Okay.
Stopped in Denver. From Denver, then to Seattle. From Seattle.
How long were you in Denver for?
I don't remember. And then from Seattle, I went to school in Seattle for 3 years, or 2-3 years. Then from Seattle to San Francisco, went to school there for 2-3 years and graduated in 62.
And you went to, did you go to, was it a college in San Francisco?
No, I went to high school.
High school?
Haywood High.
Okay.
Haywood High.
And you graduated from high school in San Francisco?
Well, it's outside of San Francisco.
Yeah, just outside, yeah. And then you went to Syracuse?
Then I came to Syracuse, yeah.
Now, so you graduated. Did you think about college? Was that something that people were doing?
Yeah, well, my mother asked me, said, "Are you going to college?" And like I told you, Peter, at that time thing was tough. Pop wasn't making a lot of money, but it was surviving, and I knew that to get to college, I needed money to get there, and we didn't have the grants and loan situations to get money in the 50s that they have in the 2006s. So there were no money. And she said, I'll scrub floors if you just go to junior college. I said, no, I'm not going to put you through it. Don't worry about it. I've done 12 years. I'm out of here. So I hopped the train and came to Syracuse. My brother was here by then.
Wow, so you took a train all the way across the country?
Yeah, 6 days, 6 nights.
What was that like?
6 days and 6 nights.
Did they have a special car at that point? I mean, was it a segregated train?
I told you, they did not tolerate segregation.
Okay.
Out there.
Oh, I don't know what the...
No, that train came all the way across the country, right into Chicago. There was no segregation anywhere. Okay?
Yeah.
It came all the way through.
So what brought you to Syracuse?
My brother was here. He had moved here by then. My older brother, Henry.
Okay.
And came here to be around here.
Did he, I mean, was it, so you had family, it's a family.
My family here. My mother's sister was here also.
And was there also the promise of work for good pay and that sort of thing, or?
Man, there was so much work here in 62. Oh, you could get a job anywhere. I went to work the next day. I came in 62, filled out an application in the hospital, went to work in the operating room as a technician. Next day. Then I went to GE after that. There was so much work in Syracuse, New York. Anybody could get a job in the 60s. You could work 2-3 jobs if you want. I did. I went to work at Syracuse Hotel and work in another job. Yeah, a lot of work.
What was I guess it was the industrial boom? Was that? I
Yeah,
mean,
that was industrial boom in Syracuse. There was a lot of people here then. I mean, you had all the factories here. And thousands of people were working in the factories. Thousands. GE hired 10,000 people. There was 10,000 people working General Electric. The people were coming in every day getting jobs. Plus, you had people coming here working on farms, bean farms and apple farms around. It's just a lot of people migrating to New York in '60.
mm-hmm.
Just a lot of work.
Was that the first? Was this the first period that saw a significant rise in the black population in this city?
In this area?
Yeah.
Well, it happened before I come here. People have been migrating here since '40s. Yeah, it happened before I came here.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of people here, from anywhere from Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Carolinas. A lot of people. Mississippi, Arkansas. Just tons of people.
And where were you? Where did you end up living when you got here?
I moved in with my brother until I got married.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So how long were you living with your brother?
About a couple of years.
Couple years.
Yeah.
What was the music scene like when you got here?
Oh, great, man. Great music scene. Oh, God, there was a lot of bands here. Playing the blues, the soul, everything, man. It's just, they had a band that was playing everything. If you had soul, Aretha Franklin was a band doing her. There was jazz band. There was tons of jazz band. Blues, Wilson Pickett music. They just had bands that would kill those guys. But they're all dead now. There were bands everywhere.
A lot of clubs too?
Oh, on every corner there was a club. And you paid to get in. Every club you went to was either $5 or $10 to get in the door. And they paid the bands real good because they were charging at the door. I wasn't playing that time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's get into that. I mean, how did that?
Hey man, blues man was born when I was born.
Mm-hmm. Actually, let's go back to. I want to go back to Alabama real quick. Did you become? Is that where your awareness of the blues began?
Yeah.
Tell me about becoming aware of the music and what that was
Well,
like.
you know, my grandmother rented this house downtown, and that house was next door to a juke joint. The name of the place was Blue Flame. And every night when I lay down and go to bed, all I heard was B.B. King and Bobby Bland and Muddy Waters just tearing my head up, pounding until I go to sleep every night. And I think that just distilled the blues in me, you wouldn't believe. But from the day that I was born, I guess you can say a blues man was born, because I never knew I had the capabilities of being able to play the blues or sing the blues. And I never even knew. But I guess you can say the day I was born, the blues man was born. Because it has not been hard for me to do. I mean, I never taken any music in my life, and I play so many different instruments.
Do you ever see guys playing on their porches?
Yeah.
That sort of thing?
That's all I seen when I was 3, 4, 5, 6 years old.
Out in the country?
Yeah.
What was that kind of thing like? I mean,
Normal to see a guy sitting there playing slide with his knife in his hand, or a broken bottleneck off a bottle on his finger, playing. It's like Muddy Water, all the rest of them play. You've seen it every day. Or he would just have a guitar playing, singing the blues. Tons of them. Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there music in your family background?
No. That was it.
When did you get your first guitar?
62.
So it took a while.
Well, yeah, it took a while. I think I was 19. But in San Francisco, when I was living in San Francisco, there was a band there called the Gents. These guys was playing the blues, and I used to hang around with them. And I would go to where they were playing. When they take a break, I would go on stage and fool around with the instruments while they were on break. And I did that. Just fool around with them while they were on break. When I came to Syracuse, I bought a guitar and started playing it.
And you say, I mean, when you just sort of picked it up, and it just, I mean, did it just seem natural to you?
Yeah, I mean,
What was that like to
I could
discover?
already blow a harmonica.
What was that like to discover that that you had this ability?
Shocking, because they didn't know I had it. Didn't I? Well, I'm telling you, I sit down at a piano in somebody's house one day. I seen this old beat-up piano sitting on the back porch of somebody's house. Somewhere, I don't remember where it was. And I sit down at that thing, and I started ting, 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 ting. 15 minutes later, I was playing it. I said, oh, God, how did I do that? Never taken any music. I just played the piano and the organ in my latest CD. I just released it a week ago. I never taken any music, but I played the organ and the piano in it. And I wrote the music, and I wrote the song, and I arranged the music. I arranged the horn work, 4 horns. I arranged the horn works in there.
So you started, your first job was working in a hospital as a technician? What kind of work were you doing there?
Operating technician.
So you were handing the surgeon his tools?
Well, you did a lot of different things in there. You circulated. And, sometimes you do orderly work when the orderly didn't come in or whatever, okay? Or you went up in the delivery room and worked. Or you went down in the emergency room and worked,
And you didn't need they didn't need you to have a college degree to
No,
come in there?
Well, I was so smart, Pete, when I come here. Maybe you would have, but I didn't. But when I got out of high school, I was an A+ student. And I had taken a test when I got there. And they said, well, how soon are you going to work? I said, yesterday. They said, we got a job for you. We're going to train you on the job. All right.
Great.
Yeah.
You were making good money there?
No. The money sucked in the 60s. In the 60s. I make $137 cents an hour. I work inside a doctor, and he was making $10,000 to do surgery. I was making $37 cents an hour. That's why I quit it.
And where'd you go?
I went to GE.
GE. What was that? Where you the foreman work?
No, I went to General Electric. I worked there.
So what were you doing at GE?
I was working in putting guns in tubes. See, in those days they had picture tubes in television. When the tube wouldn't work unless you put a gun in the tube, the neck of the tube had to put a gun in there, because we had to put gas inside that tube and a gun in the back to keep the gas in. My job was to put the gun in the tube.
Okay.
So to hold the gas in there.
And so that was a little bit better for you financially?
Whoa, God, I made $5. I think I was making $5-6 an hour, and I was making $1 and some hours in the hospital.
Now is that because were you part of a union at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the GE.
So that was, I suspect that's probably
Top
why you were.
money.
Yeah.
Top money. I bought a car. It was top money.
This is when you. This is when things started to sort of come together as far as starting
music?
a family and that
No,
sort
the
of
music.
thing, or-
Music.
Oh, okay.
Music.
So you start making a little bit of money,
Yeah.
and
I was playing a band by then, man.
how'd you get into your first band and that sort of thing?
Just heard about some dudes jamming somewhere on a porch. I went over there and took my guitar and sat down with him, jamming, and then went back and jammed with him some more. And just kept going to jam. One day they said, let's get a band together. And I said, all right, me. Start playing.
What was this band? What was the name of the band?
I don't remember.
What
Wasn't a name. There was no name. It was just a bunch of us.
What kind of music were you guys playing?
Blues. That was blues.
That was
at that
blues.
time. Yeah. At that time, it was blues. And then I played jazz, and I played soul, and played rock and soul. And then I quit. And when I went back, I played blues, and that was it. I haven't left blues again.
When did you quit?
I'd say around 72, 73, or something like that.
And how long until you came back to it?
Probably about 75, 76.
Any particular reason, or
Why I
that
came
you,
back?
that you stopped, or no? Why did that you stopped? Was there any particular?
I got tired. I mean, I was working a full job at Syracuse, China at night. And I was traveling from Friday night to Sunday night on the road, traveling from city to city, playing blues. And be back to Syracuse on a Monday morning, go to work, and then leave Friday afternoon and travel from city to city and be back home on Monday morning and go to work. And after a while, that's just got to be too much, man. So I quit.
Were you with the Soul Doctors at that point? Was that the last band? What was the last?
No, that was not the Soul Doctors. That
Oh,
was
okay.
another band I was playing with.
When were you playing with the Soul Doctors?
Pretty much at the end of the time before I started recording.
And that was with Herb and Marcia.
Yeah, right.
Was that a fun group to be in?
Yeah, it was, but they weren't going anywhere. So I quit the band and started recording.
So how long? How long had you been in Syracuse when you met your wife?
About 3 years.
3 years. And did you guys date for a while before you got married?
Yeah, we dated for a while, then we got married.
Yeah.
We had a couple kids. Then I got a divorce from her. She couldn't tolerate the likes of me, so I got a divorce. And then it went on for years and years and years. And then I met Josephine, and I married her, and I stayed with her 28 years until she left. She couldn't tolerate the likes of me either. She left me in '96.
And you have, I'm trying to remember now. I know of at least three children.
4 kids.
4, okay.
2 by the first wife and 2 by the second wife.
2 daughters with the first wife?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Trusser and Desiree.
Okay. And they're down south now, right?
Well, Trusser
One
and
of them.
Desiree died in '81.
That's right, yeah.
And then you got Michael and Shawana here in Syracuse by my second wife. You know, and they're grown. Those kids are in their 20s.
Yeah.
27, 26 years old. And this is 2006.
Was being a musician and holding down a full-time job, is it hard to maintain a marriage when you're trying to do all that?
You're not going to maintain a marriage. Did that answer your question? Why do you think I'm divorced twice?
This is too rough.
I made up my mind that this is what I was going to do. Nobody's going to tell me I wasn't going to play the blues. I made up my mind. I didn't care who it was. I mean, you can say you're my wife you want, but you got to put up with. Hang on a second.
Oh.
Let me just set this here.
All right.
And I'll just get right back in my spot. Nobody's going to tell me I'm not going to play the blues. I think that's mainly what destroyed both of the marriage was the music.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I could make that choice. I mean,
Choice.
Yeah, music or marriage. I got to do it.
Well, you know what? Like I tell everybody, if you're going to get married and you're a musician, you better have the right person. Simple as that. If you marry the wrong woman, you're going to have a problem, because if you're doing music and you're serious about music, it's going to take up a lot of your time. If you're serious about it. And I was serious about it. Okay? It was the only thing that I ever tried to do that I did good. So I didn't see any reason not to do it. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you're going to be serious about it, it's going to consume a lot of your life. You know, like right now, I mean, I would never get married again, because I just don't think I'm going to find. Maybe I could find the right one, but I don't want to take the chance, because I know when my bus leaves, I'm going to be on it. I know that. When my van leaves and go across town with that trailer, I'm going to be sitting in it to go play some blues. When my bus leaves to go down south, I'm going to be on that bus. We're going to do some shows. I know that. And don't tell me about, honey, I don't want you to leave. That ain't going to work. So you got to have the right woman that supports what you do. If you don't have the right woman that supports what you do, you might as well not have a woman. That's it. If you're serious about music.
Did you ever wish that you had started trying to do the music thing full time a little earlier on?
Yeah. I couldn't do it. I had kids to feed. And you know, when you're playing the blues is not the type of music that they stick on television and really pound like to do rock and acid music and soul. They don't really push blues. So your future in blues, it can be good as far as your likes, what you're doing, but as far as making the money that you need to survive and take care of family, you have to be very careful. So that means you got to work a regular job and do this stuff part-time to make sure those children have a home, make sure they're in school. And then I put these kids into college. So I had to make sure that these kids were going to go to school. So I had to keep that job. And I was a foreman at Syracuse, China for 30 years in order that they would have the kind of life they should have and get this college education they needed. And when that was over, that's when I bought a van and a trailer and hit the road. And that's when my trouble started. As long as I was here, coming in here every night saying, yes, dear, no, dear, the children need shoes, here's $100. As long as I was doing that, everything was fine. But when I hit the road, so did she.
Let's talk about the work a little bit. You were at GE. You were putting the guns in the tubes.
Yeah.
And was Syracuse? What was your next job after that?
Syracuse, China.
It was Syracuse, China.
Yeah.
How long were you at GE?
Oh, probably a year and a half, 2 years. Well, GE was laying off. They were not laying off. They were striking every weekend. There was a strike.
Okay.
One thing or another. I mean, it was just terrible, the place to work if you wanted to pay bills. I was a single man, and I just couldn't do that. You know, I couldn't pay my car note. So, well, if they strike again, that'll be their last strike with me there. And it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
I went to Syracuse, China.
Were you a foreman right away?
No.
No.
I got a job. I had to learn what making China was all about. Like I told you, I was the smartest. I was so smart when I come here. 10 years, I was a foreman. Well, I was running machines. I worked there for a year as a laborer, just doing stuff. And one day they put me on a machine, and I ran a machine for, I don't know, 8 years. But in doing those 8 years, advancement and bringing in new machines all the time, and new technology was coming in. And every time that something different would come up, they would come and get me, Dean, why don't you come over here and take a look at this? What do you think of this machine? And I would set them up. Look at the schematics, read schematics, and work with the engineers to set them up. And then I would run it. And from one machine to the other one, and any machine they brought in there, they would come get me to run it. Work with the engineers for weeks to set the thing up, put it together, and run it. So after there was nothing left for me to run or nothing else for me to tackle, I knew every machine in there. After about 8 years, they said, well, we want to put you in management so you can teach other people what you know. And that's when it was management. It's foreman.
And what does the foreman do?
Directs the work. He directs the work. Assign people to work. And he's the foreman that was over the whole 9 yards. I mean, the workers, machinery, workers, the production, the ordering the production, everything.
How big was this factory?
It had, yeah, when I went there was 1,500 people working there. It was 1,500 people. I started by running one department. When I left there, I was running 6 departments. When I started, I had one department. When I come out and retired, they had 6 departments under me. They just kept adding them and adding them and adding them. Give it to Dean, he can handle it. Give it to Dean, he can handle it. I was the only black foreman there. The only one.
I mean, I've heard you talk about how you had to walk the floor and that killed your feet.
Yeah.
Now, how does that happen? I mean, you must have been walking every day for like 8
Well, I
hours.
would go to work at 2 o'clock in the evening, work at 2 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, I had 6 departments. They stretched from my home to downtown Syracuse. All those departments.
So the operation was spread out throughout the city?
No, throughout the plant. The plant was that big.
Okay, so
I would have to walk from here downtown almost to get to a department if they needed me.
Okay.
And then when I got down there to that department and take care of that problem, I had a call to go back to where I just came from. You'd walk all the way back.
And you
So you do that for 30 years, and you've got no feet left on concrete. They didn't have work shoes in those days.
right.
You bought a pair of shoes, you wore them for a while until they didn't look right no more, and they didn't look good with your suit. Take them to work in them. But they kill your feet.
Because you didn't have any rubber
Right.
on the bottom.
They didn't have the right instep and insole. Now they got shoes that you can walk from here to Canada, it won't bother you.
I mean, what happened to your feet? I mean,
I ended up with deteriorated plantar fasciitis. It's a deterioration of the bottom of the feet, the fatty tissue with the membrane next to the bone. I wore the membrane out next to the bone, so when I stand up now, it feels like you're standing on nails and tacks. And I have to go through therapy about 3 times a year to stop the pain. That can't be reversed.
no way to get out of that.
No, not unless you take the feet off and put another set on.
You ever thought about that?
Well, if you can't sleep at night, and your feet are hurting, you can't sleep. You try anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that? I mean, so even when you're not standing up,
Yeah.
if
They're bad.
if they're bad,
You have to go to therapy for about 6 weeks. And then kind of quiets them down. And when the weather changes, they're back. They're back.
and what? I mean, what? 6 weeks of therapy. You know, does it when you're playing? Does it help to distract away from that kind of pain? And is that the kind of thing where,
When you're playing,
yeah? Are you one of those people that kind of?
you'll never get away from the pain. I mean, you just got to do what you do. You know, I don't stand up anymore when I play. I sit on a stool. I have special stools. They're cut certain height. You should know that. You left my stool in Columbus, Georgia, or somewhere. Somewhere down there, you left my stool. We had to buy one. We got Columbus when we were on the road, and you filmed that documentary. Somebody left my stool in one of the cities we were playing in.
Yeah.
So we had to find the right stool, the right height, sit down and play. So I don't stand up anymore. I haven't stood up since 92.
So, what allowed you to quit the Syracuse China job?
Oh, well, it's not a question of me quitting. They fired me because I couldn't walk anymore. See, when you're a foreman, they can get rid of you anytime they want.
Because you're not union.
That's right, you're not unionized. And I couldn't walk anymore. And they were giving me a cart to ride around like a scooter.
Yeah.
And it would break down, and when it breaks down, I stayed home. Because my doctor told me, no way you would go and walk on these feet. You can't do it. You'll be in a wheelchair the rest of your life. So I wouldn't go. And they got tired of me not coming, and they wouldn't fix the scooter, so I'd stay in. They still had to pay me.
Just one question I wanted to ask you: how long have you been living on the South Side?
28 years.
So you've seen this community go through a lot. I mean, what's it been like? What have you seen happen? I assume this city, Syracuse, was a lot more prosperous. Not so long ago, maybe what, 30
years.
30 years ago. Describe the process of what you've seen happen to the city, and particularly it seems like it's a very polarized city now.
Well, I've seen a prosperous city go down to nothing. I've seen idiots increase the fees on the bays at the airport, where the air carriers had to increase the fees to fly to Syracuse. I've seen the idiots that run in the city and the state drive the taxes up so high until people leave here. I've seen the idiots that run Niagara Mohawk put the cost of gas and heat so high the companies couldn't afford it, so the companies left. I've seen idiots that are running the unions push the companies in such a corner trying to get more money for the employees till the company left. Okay? I've seen the state taxed the hell out of people so much, and the companies that are working in the state until the companies left and the people left. Okay? I've seen the idiots running the city, running in such a way where everybody has to go and start stealing and selling drugs to make it because of the way they run the city. I've seen it in the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Lunatics running the state, running the companies that see, all it, like I told you, when I came here in '62, General Motors, Carrier, Chrysler, GE, Light Rollaway Baron, Cross Hine, and Crucible Steel, and Overdoctor. Some of them, they all had thousands of people working between the unions, Niagara Mohawk, the city, and the state. It shut them down and run them out of here. Niagara Mohawk raised the price on the gas and the electricity. The state raised the taxes. The city raised its taxes. And the union drove the company into the ground, getting more money for the employees. They wouldn't let the people learn how to live on what they're making and accept the benefits. They wanted more dollars. They pushed Chrysler into paying people $35 an hour. Pushed Carrier into paying people $30 an hour. Pushed General Motors into paying people big money. So they had to increase the price of the cars. Then the people couldn't buy the cars. Okay? I've seen it.
So after 30 years, that's it. No more Syracuse China.
Fired me.
That must have hurt a little bit. After
Not really.
You were ready to go?
I was ready to go on, start touring.
And that's what you did?
That's what I did.
How did you make the transition?
Easy. I went to work one day and they said, can we see you in the office? You want to see me in your office? Yeah. I went in personnel office and they said, we were thinking about letting you go. I said, well, okay, I'll see you. And I walked out the door and come home. I went and bought a trailer and a van, put a band together and hit the road. That's it.
And this is when was this?
92.
92.
That was it. Dude, I'm out of here.
And your kids were?
Big kids, yeah.
They were big.
16, 17 at that time.
So what was it like? You were playing blues? You were playing in a blues? It was a blues band? Who was in the band? Do you remember?
Oh, man. I knew you was going to ask me that, Pete. At that time?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think it was Hunter Larry Stringer. Oh, jeez. I don't remember.
Well, what was it like going out on the road for the first time? Were you I mean, was it, just describe what it's like to, finally have that dream.
I think it was Jaime Whitehall, Rodney Zajac on the saxophone, Jose Alvarez on the guitar.
Wait a second. Hold on. Let's back up here. Let's get our dates straight. Because you're
talking...
talking...
First time I went on the road, you're talking?
Yeah.
Oh, Bill Brownlee and... Oh, it was Bill Brownlee and who? Jeez, I don't remember. This was a long time ago, Pete. I've had so many guys on the road with me, I can't even remember who they were.
I'm just trying to figure out, were you playing music and going out on the weekends and stuff?
Yeah.
While you were at Syracuse China?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So...
But that wasn't going on the road. When you say going on the road, that means leaving here and be gone for a month or 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to construct your music, your blues, because what I know...
Oh, I was doing it every weekend.
Because, I mean, like, I remember those old 45s and stuff that you had me convert.
Yeah.
Like, when did you start putting that stuff out? I mean...
Oh, that was way back, man. That was way back in the 70s and 80s. Way back.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going on the road then.
Okay.
I was still working, but I was recording. You said going on the road.
I know.
Full-fledged on the road, dude. That was 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been...
1992.
Yeah, I think I went with you in 94. No, wait, what am I talking about? I didn't go with you until 98 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so '92 is the first time you went
That's
on a
right.
full-fledged tour.
That's right.
Where did you go? Like what parts of the country were you hitting?
Well, we left here. We hit Elmira, Scranton, Raleigh, North Carolina, Greensboro, South Carolina, Atlanta, Blind Willie, Auburn, Alabama, no, Columbus, Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, at Auburn University. And we left there, and we headed back north. I think we went up to Huntsville, Alabama, right on to Ohio, back into Syracuse area.
And was it the kind of thing where you were?
We had a lot of problems. The van broke down a couple of times. We had a lot of problems. And, you know, we had a rental trailer, and there were a lot of problems on the road the first time we went out. Oh, God. And we made a mistake. We went out in July, I think it was. August. And you had a bunch of white boys that had been living in the snow and the ice, and you took them down south in August. And the van didn't have any air conditioning. It was terrible. As we drove down the road on the highway, man, there was legs hanging out the windows. And we had the windows open and the feet were sticking out the window. They were so hot. I mean, they caught a lot of hell at that tour. It was 100-something degrees, man. I mean, you didn't have no air. We stopped and go to the hotel. First thing they did was just set the bags on and jump in the pool with the clothes on. It was terrible. Well, it didn't bother me that much because, you know, I was born and raised up down in Georgia and Alabama area. A little 115, 10 degrees didn't bother me that much. And I got this pigment skin, so it's a heat repellent. But them white boys, they caught a lot of hell. Yeah, they did.
What do you like about going out on the road? What sorts of things do you look forward to when you're going out and
You
touring?
see a beautiful smile on my face. See a beautiful smile. What I like, I have rolled into some towns where they had banners across the street. Up from one end of the street cross. Says, Roosevelt Dean, welcome Roosevelt Dean, this blah blah this weekend, blah blah. To see your name up there across the street as you drive into town, that means they were waiting for me. That was my highlight of being on the road.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When did the so how many of those sorts of tours have you done, do you think?
I can't remember. I can't remember, man.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you on the road? Like unexpected.
The craziest thing?
Yeah. Give me a story.
I don't think we had anything crazy to happen. Everything that happened to us on the road is the blues. It's the blues. It's just going to happen. It's going to, you ever heard of Murphy's Law? If something can happen, it's going to. That's it, man. We've had all kinds of stuff on the road to happen, like breaking down or going to the wrong town or going to the wrong hotel or whatever. They ain't got no rooms or whatever. Just all kinds of stuff have happened. You got to expect that. Double booking, being double booked. You get there, they say, what are you doing here? Yeah, well, kind of hit the play. Oh, no, you're not. And you've driven to get there. I mean, you don't want to hear this, but you got to deal with it,
What are some of your favorite towns to play in when you
Favorite?
travel? Yeah. And why?
I think Tallahassee, Florida would be my most favorite town.
Yeah.
I almost said Chicago, but Chicago wouldn't be the favorite because they have so many bands there. And they're all just as good as me. So I'm not going to kick nobody around in Chicago. But when you go to Tallahassee, Florida, and play, they had a club sitting back out in the woods. You used to call it Dave CC's. It's another name now. I mean, since they changed. And as they give you directions to get to it. And as you get to the road where you go to the club, it's a dirt road and it's going down like this, up and down and around and around. And these trees are there with all this stuff hanging down off trees. You know how the trees are?
Spanish moss.
Yeah, you know how they are in Florida. And it's just hanging down, and you're driving on all this stuff, and you get into this big opening, and then this huge club sitting out there. Just huge. And there's cars as far as you can see, just parked everywhere out there, man. It's just a parking area big as Syracuse. Biggest city of Syracuse for parking space. Now you know you're going to have a good time. You're at the right place, dude. You're at the right place. And the people are outside cooking ribs and hams and ribs and beef on a pit the size of my front porch. You know you're at the right place. You're in the right place. This is going to be one hell of a night at this club. And it is. Boy, I'll tell you, it's down in Florida, man. And they love the blues, dude. And the people that coming in there, they fly in, rent cars to come to this club, Dave CC's, and they love the blues. And you can throw a match on the floor, and if you can hear it go hit the floor, they applaud that. They love the blues down in that hole. I'm telling you, boy, they love the blues. That's my favorite place to play. Yeah. JCC.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome.
I mean, Blind Willis is great in Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, you go to Blind Willis in Atlanta, you're gonna have a good time. But it's not like the other places. Blind Willis is in the heart of Atlanta, and it's a lot of traffic. It's not like them joints out back in the wood out of town where, Blind Willis is hell to get to, boy, I tell you. And then you ain't got nowhere to park. You're gonna get a ticket before you get home. And that's another thing. I have never been on the road and didn't bring a ticket back. Because you got a trailer behind you. And you need double space to park.
Yeah.
So you ride around, you can't find a place like in Baltimore one night. I was playing in Baltimore, and I must have drove 5 blocks looking for somewhere to park. And I couldn't find a park to park. So I just went right on back to the club and double parked outside and went up on the stage, got my guitar and played all night long. When I come back, I had a ticket on. But the people that were in the club wasn't going nowhere because they were there to see me. And I parked that van with the trailer on the back of it right side by side. I've never been anywhere. Downtown Cleveland, I brought tickets back. Georgetown, I brought tickets back. Up in the lakes, I bring tickets back from the lakes. We've got resorts here in Syracuse area, which is north of here. Lake George and different places, all right, that we play sometime. When you go there, those places are sold out. The hotels are sold out, but they have a room for you and your band. Well, but they ain't got no parking. So you double park all night long. You got a ticket. You got a ticket. You come back, and they're usually $25, $35. Ticket. And you just put them in the mail.
Why do you think you stuck with the blues so long as you have?
Because it's what I do good. I tried country. I tried soul. I tried rock. But blues just do something to me. It just moves me. I just sing the blues. I mean, you get in the blues, I tried them, but take for instance a song I just wrote and just recorded. If you let me, I'm gonna sing the blues for you. It's just something about it. If you let me, I'm gonna sing the blues for you. You can't beat that. What do you want me to sing? Rock? Come on. No, you gotta be blues, dude. Blues. Gotta stick with the blues. I don't even want to discuss it now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of your exploits in Chicago. I know you've been to Chicago a bunch of times for Blues Fest, and I know you buy your.
I got a lot of buddies.
Things.
I got a lot of buddies over there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just get to playing fly over there and jam, but just hit the club, hang out with buddy guys, and Kingston Mines, wherever, But Noel Neal was there. Kenny Neal's brother, he was living there a long time. I used to go out and hang out with Noel. And, he would pick me up and we would ride the club. And And me and Noel used to just walk in the club, man, and head on to the stage. He was bass player. And we walk in the club and he just keep going to the stage, dude. It's on. It's going to be throwing down time, boy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've sat in with all the people over there, man. They see me come in the door, they start taking off a guitar saying, which one you want, man? Which one do you want? I was giving the 335, the dude over here playing. Hand me that piece of wood, boy.
How do you get inspiration to write your own material? Where does that come from? Do you have a process, or?
No. If I write it, I can sing it better than if you wrote it. If I write it, I can put in it what I think should be in it. When you write a song, I think you should write a song about a story. It should be a story to it. And you should add the music there arranged to fit that story and fit that song. And I think if I write it, it'll be a lot better than you or anybody else write it. And if I write it, I can sing it better.
Do you usually come up with lyrics first or music first?
It doesn't matter. They come different ways. I go out and cut my lawn. When I come back in here, I'll have a song wrote. I'll have the music wrote. And I'll have the music arranged. And I'll have the horn work arranged when I come in the house. Okay? I released the album September last year, which I didn't touch somebody's hand. I released Don't Leave Me last week. And I went to work on Don't Leave Me in 2 weeks, and I had it finished and arranged, and we went to the studio.
It's a pretty quick turnaround.
Not for me. Not for me. It doesn't take me but a minute. Like I told you, you want me to write a song, give me something to do. Let me have to use my hands to do something, or go out and do something, or rake the yard, or vacuum the floor. I'm a singer man, so I got to do a lot of cleaning. So if I had to clean my house, I'm going to have me 3 or 4 songs wrote by the time I get done cleaning. If I want to record them, I record them. If I don't want to record them, I don't say anything. But if I'm doing an album, I'm not going to have a problem having songs. Oh, they'll be there. And I got a 9-piece band. So I arrange the horn work and arrange the guitar, the bass, and the drums and everything. And then I'll play the piano and the organ in it. And my guitar, and then I'll do the singing, and I'll arrange. I got 4 horns. I arrange that horn work. Wait till you hear the horn work in this new album. You heard it already. Yeah.
Good shit.
I arranged it.
What are the top 3 things that somebody has to do to get fired from a Roosevelt Dean band?
Talk back to me.
In other words, you tell them something to do, and
You got to do it.
Okay, that's one. You got 2 more. What are some of the things people have done that?
Attendance. You don't show up, you're fired. Okay. Attendance. And don't do what you're told. And, well, I don't think there's another one. Those are the 2 now. That'll get you fired quicker than anything.
I remember you at one point complaining about guys wearing raggedy jeans on stage.
Well, that takes care of the first one. Do what I tell you. I buy the outfits for them to wear. I buy the uniforms. Okay, if you look over here, if you look around, I can show you. I can show you a picture of my band now. Okay? You see that band? You see the uniforms they're wearing?
Mm-hmm.
I bought those. If you don't wear them, you're fired. Don't tell me you look like a monkey. I don't want to hear it. Just wear it. You can take it off when you come off stage.
Yep.
Yeah.
They look good.
Yeah. You're not gonna wear jeans on my stage.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna look just like that. See that?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I know I wouldn't be complaining if somebody bought me my uniform.
Oh, they did. I fired them. Well, they got 3 or 4 different outfits
I mean,
for different occasions, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4 different outfits.
But I mean, you've had to let go of some really talented people over the years because of various differences here and there. I mean, that's got to be.
But they didn't agree with anything that I wanted them to do.
That's got to be difficult, though. You're like, I've got this badass guitar player.
No, it's not.
No?
No. Because if you got one badass guitar player, there's got to be another one. Or another one. And another one. I wasn't the only one born that can play a guitar. There's a lot of us, okay?
Yeah.
But I got to have the right state of mind. It doesn't matter how good you are. I need that state of mind. I need you to agree with me that you're going to work for me and you're going to work with me and you're going to be my friend. So I don't care how good you are. All right? I got to have that. If you don't have that, you won't be here long. So I don't need anybody bucking me or pulling me down. I make up my mind to do something. It's going to be done. I don't care whether you like it or not. If you play in this band, it's going to be done. You let me suffer later on if it's wrong, but you do it now. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I fired my whole band because they wouldn't spend the night in a hotel. And so it's a spell by me.
Because they wouldn't spend the night in a hotel?
Well, that was one of the things they wouldn't do.
Right.
I'll give you an example. You want an example?
Sure.
We had to play a blues fest in Owego, New York. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I get to Owego, New York in the hotel, and they said, we don't have rooms for your band. I said, well, I got a contract to play at this festival here, and I'm supposed to play at 8 o'clock tonight. It's 5 o'clock this afternoon now. And I have to go in there and get ready to get changed and get all the limousine will be here to pick me up at 7:45. You telling me you don't have a room for me and my band? I tell you what, they got to pay me. I got a contract with them, and they got to pay me these thousands of dollars. And I'm not going to play because I can't. I have no room for the band. I have nowhere to change because you won't give me a room. And they said, all right, hang on a second. So they come back and said, we didn't came up with rooms for your whole band. I said, well, that's wonderful. So we get changed. The limousine come to pick us up. We go over and do the show. We come back to the hotel, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I'm looking, there's only 3 of us walking in. I said, where's the rest of the guys? And one of the guys says, man, I seen them getting on the expressway headed to New York, Syracuse, New York. What? And at this time, we got people outside sleeping on the lawn, on benches, and outside the hotel because they didn't have no rooms. And there were people out there literally sleeping on the lawn. And they had held these rooms for my band. When I come back to Syracuse, I fired those guys.
They knew that you guys had these rooms.
Of course.
Yeah.
They didn't want to stay. And I had to sneak out of the hotel out the back door, keep from facing them that next morning. With these people laying around on the lawn when they got these empty rooms. But I said, they will never put me in that predicament again.
Yeah, it's not good to be embarrassed. Huh?
That's right.
Just make sure I'm in focus here.
Well, you know what? You don't have to. It's not that I fire people for nothing. I mean,
right.
But you gotta be the right kind of person in this band because I expect a lot. I expect you to have shiny shoes when you walk on the stage. I expect you to wear the outfits that I provide you with. And they're different colors. That's red. They got blue, they got gray, they got black outfits with silver stuff all over. If I tell you I want you to see it, and the red this time, that's what you're gonna wear. Now, I don't want you going on stage in dirty sneakers, okay? It ain't gonna look right with the red outfit, okay? Mm-hmm. If you don't do that, we're not gonna even talk about it. You're fired.
Yeah. How did you develop your sense of showmanship and timing? I particularly like the moments where you've taken the whole thing down, the whole band's playing real quiet, and then you just
the dynamics
hit them. Like how did that develop? Did you just kind of know what to do, or is it listening to blues, other musicians?
No, it come from going to Chicago, listen and learn, watching the way other people do their shows and what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, you have to ask somebody. So what I did was catch a plane, go to Chicago for a weekend, come back, go to work, blah, blah. Then I get a chance to go to Chicago, watch. Go to a lot of festivals, see how people do shows, a lot of festivals. and you learn. And you learn, and you come back and you say, well, I'm going to change my act. I'm going to put this in my act. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when you get it the way you want it, you leave it alone. If it ain't broke, you don't try to fix it. That's what I've done over the years, to do things to get my show where I want it. I tell you, when you use dynamics, and you can get that band down soft enough to hear a rat piss on cotton in the next room, that band's quiet. But the best part about it is how the lower you get the band, the better it sounds when you bring them back out. So if you got somebody in your band that can't play as low as you want them to play, you fire them. You have to be able to play professionally. And it's mighty poor person that can't play soft. You got buttons on your instrument, you can turn it down. When I do this for the band to go down, that band's got to go down. Anybody that can't get down does not have a job, because it should be smooth. Everybody should be equal all the way across. You hear this band I got now play, I'm serious. You can whisper to somebody across the room while they're playing, and they'll hear you. But when I bring them out, we call them bringing them out the woods. When we bring them out the woods, that band leaves from here and goes to there. The crowd clears the floor. The crowd goes, oh my God. That's what makes you famous. That you can control the band, and when you can control the band and energize the crowd, where the crowd, it just can't wait to see you again, to watch you do this. That's what makes you.
Yeah.
But you got to know how to do it, Pete. You got to know how to do it. And you can go and see thousands of bands. You can see thousands of bands. Okay? Only 200 out of 1,000 can do this. All the rest is playing loud, fast, all night long, killing you, beating your head against the wall. When you find a band that can put that music down there, and you can whisper to your woman next to you, and that band ain't missing a beat, but it's playing so soft, and then the guy's singing or he's playing his guitar so soft, and then they come out them woods, boy, and that music go boom. Man, you're going to stop talking to that woman. You want to see what the hell's going on. Where this band come from? That's how you do it.
What about you're the front man, the singer? How do you connect with your audience as a lead singer, as the person who is speaking directly to the audience? How do you stay connected with them?
Because I have a voice of demand. I have a voice that demands you to listen to me. And it's the way that I put it out there. I have a voice of demand. And if you ain't listening, I will bring that band down so low and then tell you, you ain't listening to me. You will be quiet when I'm trying to sing. Or I'll go, shh. And if I do this, the whole place does it. Shh. You hear people all around the club going, shh. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's huge psychology. But like I've told people before, when you singing, you have to sing to the people. You have to find somebody in that audience interested in hearing what you're singing. And that's who you got to sing to. But it's good to find more than one. And make sure you got one on this side of the stage and one on that side of the stage. That gives you a chance to walk the stage. And don't stand in one place like this and sing all night long. Mm-hmm. You know, you ain't going to have anybody left there to listen to you after about an hour, because you standing out like this and you ain't moving, you're singing. But if you can walk from this stage, corner of this stage, and walk over to that side of the stage and sing to that person, and then halfway when you get through doing that, you come back over here and sing to that, you're all over the stage. You can't beat that.
So you're looking right at people?
Sure. You sing to the people. Who you going to look at? The band? They're behind you. You have to sing to the people out in the audience. Mm-hmm. And you got to find somebody that's going like this, that's into you. When you find that somebody's into you, you just tear them up. Even if they leave the stage and go out there and get down on your knees and sing to them. Mm-hmm. This is what makes you famous. Or if you're playing the guitar. I've been known to come off the stage with my wireless and go out there and stand there and play to somebody because that person wanted me to. because that person told me with their eyes, I want you to play to me. Fine, that's all right. I get my guitar and go out there and stand right there in front of him. I kneel down and just play to him. You don't have to be that good, but if you playing for him, he's going to tell 5 people, Roosevelt Dean played for me. You got to hear him. Now you got 10 people coming back because them 5 going to tell another 5. You got a lot of people coming back. I'm going, that dude might play for me.
I was going to ask, how do you keep the blues interesting for folks? A lot of
Keep
people
changing it.
Yeah. Can you elaborate?
Yeah. You want me to play the same song for 15, 20 years? Or do you want me to change and get something new? Would you be happier if you come in here and I'm playing different music tonight, you see me tomorrow night, I'm playing different music tomorrow night? Or would you want me to be playing the same thing every night after about 3 or 4 weeks of seeing me playing the same thing every night? What you gonna do? You coming? No, you ain't, is you?
I mean, like more for the, say it's a first timer. They're not even there for the music necessarily, but they're not big into blues.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, when they hear blues for an extended period of time, they start to feel like they're hearing the same thing.
I'm not gonna let you do that.
How do you avoid that?
I'm not gonna let you do it. I'm gonna put on a hell of a show where you're gonna pay attention to me. I'm gonna sing to you.
So it's all about the performance.
That's right. I'm gonna sing to you. Like I told you, I'm gonna sing to you. If you in that club, I'm gonna get you. If you in there. If you outside, I'm gonna bring you in. Either with my singing or with my playing, I'm gonna get you. One way or the other, you gonna be mine. I ain't gonna let you stand there and talk. Even if I had to come off the stage and go down there and play to you, I'm gonna get you.
When did they start calling you the Dean of the Blues?
Oh, God. Back in the 80s. Back in the 80s.
When was the first time you heard somebody?
When I was listening to Tom Townsend on the radio one day, he said, this is the Dean of the Blues, the voice, Roosevelt Dean. That was back in the 80s.
And it's stuck since then, huh?
Oh, they won't leave it alone. They call me the man. I told you, because I'm going to sing to you. I told you, if you let me, I'm going to sing the blues to you. You can't leave that alone. No.
What do you say to young people who find inspiration in what you do and express a desire to do what you do, as far as?
What do you mean? What I do?
I mean, what advice do you give to young people who want to do what you do, who want to play the blues and
Want to play the blues?
try to make a go at it?
I'll tell you what, it won't be easy. They have to make up their mind if that's what they want to do, stick with it. Don't let anybody change their mind and turn them around, but it won't not be easy. And to do what I do, you got to have a job to go along with it until you get to where I am, or you will starve. Because blues is not like rock, acid music, okay? Hip hop. You don't make a lot of money at it. I'm in blues because of the love of it, not for the money. So the only thing I can say, if that's what they want to do, they have to go for it. But it won't be easy.
I heard you say once that the jazz and blues will never die, and I was wondering if you could tell me why you believe that.
Because all the music comes from blues. Blues will never die. I don't care what you do, where you go, it's still going to come back to the blues. Now you have generation after generation going to different type of music, all right? But the blues is still there. It's just that those generations will go to their new thing. And all your new things, they go and they're gone. They don't last. The blues is still there. It'll never die. Because it's the birth of music. It's the birth of music.
All music?
No other blues come from the gospel. Okay? But all your other music arises from the blues. Jazz, rock, whatever comes from the blues. But the birth of music is gospel.